Hi everyone, it's great to see you. I'm Lorna and we're reading Flat Stanley, the Great Egyptian Grave Robbery, written by S. Pennypacker and created by Jeff Brown. And this is Chapter 4, The Mission. The bazaar was colourful with lots of displays and noisy with the cheerful shouts of buyers and sellers. Booths were piled with antiquities, woven rugs and embroidered cloths, ancient pottery and plates, brass lamps, gold jewellery, silver brushes and combs, decorated tablets and scrolls. Stanley smelled incense and perfume and spices. Donkeys brayed and carts jostled the crowds. Now and then, Stanley had to turn sideways to get through without bumping into anything. Sometimes, he reminded himself, sometimes being flat makes me feel lucky. But mostly, he reminded himself, mostly being flat just makes me feel flat. He couldn't help wondering how he would feel at the end of his adventure, if he ever had an adventure. How would he know he was at the right place? How would he find Sir Abushenti Hawara the Fourth? Psst! Flatty! You flatty pork chop! Before Stanley could correct whomever was there, an arm shot out and dragged him behind a hanging rug. Come with me, said a man in a dark uniform. Sir has been waiting for you. The man pulled Stanley through the back alleys of the bazaar until they came to a fenced-off tent surrounded by uniformed men. Inside, more guards nodded at Stanley and the man and stepped aside to let them through. Inside, the tent was dark, with clouds of smoke rising from oil lamps and pots of incense. After a moment, Stanley saw a bearded man in a red robe seated on a gold-embroidered cushion. Sir Abushenti Hawara the Fourth clapped his hands and motioned for Stanley to approach, and then he nodded to a guard. Turn him sideways, he ordered, pointing, very rudely Stanley thought, to Stanley. Measure him. Stanley knew it was important to be polite, even when faced with rudeness. I'm Stanley Lambchop from America, he introduced himself. I'm very pleased to meet you, and I hope... You're not likely to pop out round in the middle of things, are you? Sir Hawara interrupted. This flatness isn't just a party trick, right? Stanley sighed. Not so far. The guard finished the measuring. 1/2 inch thick, he reported. Good then, Sir Hawara said. Let's get started. I've been waiting a long time for this. He clapped his hands again, and 6 guards sprang to his side. Several of them spread maps and photographs on the ground, while another lit his pipe. You smoke, lamb chop? Sir Hawara asked. Stanley shook his head no, wondering what his parents might say about this. Too flat, I suppose, Sir Hawara mused. He shook his head and then tapped his pipe on the map in front of him. This here is the Great Pyramid of Khufu, sealed for more than 4,000 years. It is believed that at the centre, inside the pharaoh's tomb, are the priceless giant scrolls of papyrus. Stanley waved away some smoke. And you're going to go in and find them? Wrong, answered Hawara. You're going to go in and find them. That's why I brought you here. But I don't know anything about, Stanley began. Sir Hawara ignored him. According to ancient lore, King Khufu locked his tomb from the inside to protect it from grave robbers. At the word grave robbers, Stanley shivered and broke into goose discs. Since his encounter with the bulletin board, Stanley's goosebumps now came up as flat as the rest of him. More like tiny discs than bumps. Nothing to be alarmed about, Dr. Dan had assured his parents when they had noticed. Perfectly normal in these cases. I've been expecting it. Also, Sir Hawara continued, he had dozens of trick passageways built, leading nowhere. However, he did leave one way out, a passageway 3 inches wide, just enough space for his soul to escape. He pointed his pipe at Stanley. That's where you come in. I found the entrance to that passageway. You're going to enter the tomb, find out if the scrolls are really there, and then unlock the tomb from inside. Got it? Stanley nodded. Good. Sir Hawara rose from his cushion and clapped his hands one more time. Saddle up a camel for our flat friend, he ordered a guard. Then he turned to Stanley. 1 hump or 2? Stanley stared at him. That's a joke, Lamb Chop, Hawara said. We only have one-humped camels here in Egypt. Join me for chapter 5.